Hey there, heroes. Before you do anything else, smash that subscribe button for K9 Miracle Stories. Trust me, you won't want to miss a second of this one. Picture this: a foggy morning at a quiet bus station where nothing ever happens. Then, a retired war dog's growl pierces the silence, and in less than 5 minutes, a chilling secret unravels. A secret hidden inside a tattered suitcase that will leave you stunned. This is a story of courage, instinct, and a dog who saw what no one else could. Subscribe now, join our pack, and let's dive into this unforgettable mystery. Welcome to K9 Miracle Stories, the channel where we celebrate the unbreakable bond between humans and the animals who save them. Today, we're bringing you a tale that'll grip your heart and remind you why dogs are our greatest heroes. It's about Trooper, a retired Marine K9 with a nose for danger, Officer Dana Blake, a cop who trusts her gut, and a little boy whose life depended on their courage. This isn't just a story. It's a roller coaster of suspense, loyalty, and hope that'll keep you glued to the screen. If you believe in the power of animals to change lives, hit that subscribe button and let's get started. Oh, and stick around to the end. We want to hear your thoughts in the comments. It was a chilly Monday morning in late October, just outside Columbus, Ohio, at Riverstone Transit, a small, sleepy bus station where the most exciting thing was usually a late bus or a lost ticket. The morning fog rolled thick across the parking lot, wrapping commuters in a gray haze. Tired travelers clutched steaming coffee cups, dragged rolling suitcases, and shuffled toward the platform. A crackly PA system announced departures. A young mom wrestled with a stroller while her toddler chased pigeons, giggling wildly. Two teenagers argued over who lost their shared earbuds. The air smelled of diesel and damp asphalt. It was the kind of place where time seemed to crawl, where nothing ever happened. Until it did. Officer Dana Blake stood by her patrol car, parked near the station's entrance. In her mid-30s, with sharp eyes and a calm demeanor, Dana was a veteran who'd seen her share chaos in the military before joining the local police force. She nibbled on a protein bar, the wrapper crinkling in her hand, while her other hand held a leash. At her side was Trooper, a German shepherd with a coat flecked with gray, his movements deliberate but his amber eyes burning with purpose. Trooper wasn't just any dog. He was a retired Marine K9, trained in Afghanistan to sniff out explosives, detect hidden threats, and stand between danger and his handler without hesitation. After years of service and 2 quiet years in retirement, Trooper had been reinstated through a local K9 pilot program for low-risk patrols. Dana, with her own war-honed instincts, was his perfect partner. Their bond was silent, forged in trust, the kind that didn't need words. Dana scanned the platform, her breath visible in the cold air. Trooper walked beside her, his nose twitching, ears swiveling like tiny radar dishes. Everything seemed normal, too normal, maybe. The fog muffled sounds, giving the station an eerie quiet. Dana took another bite of her protein bar, her mind half on the paperwork, waiting back at the station. Then, without warning, Trooper stopped dead in his tracks. Trooper's body went rigid, his tail stiff as a rod. A low, guttural growl rumbled from his chest, a sound Dana hadn't heard since their training days. She froze, her hand tightening on the leash. "Troop, what is it?" she whispered, following his gaze. His eyes were locked on a tattered maroon suitcase tucked beneath a wooden bench at the far end of the platform. It was scuffed, one wheel broken, its fabric faded and frayed. No tag, no owner nearby. It looked like 100 other forgotten bags. Nothing special, except Trooper's growl said otherwise. He lunged forward, pulling Dana a few steps, his nose low to ground, tail unmoving. His behavior wasn't his usual alert for narcotics or explosives. This was different, frantic, almost desperate, like he'd caught a scent that set every nerve on edge. Dana's pulse quickened. She'd seen Trooper like this before, in simulations overseas, when he sensed something alive. Her eyes darted around the platform. Commuters were still milling about, oblivious. She waved to a nearby transit officer, her voice low but firm. "Clear the platform. Get everyone back. Now!" The officer nodded, blowing a whistle and ushering people away. A few commuters grumbled, craning their necks to see what was happening. A security guard jogged over, his radio crackling. Bomb threat? He asked, eyeing the suitcase. Dana's gaze didn't waver. Could be, could be worse. Her hand rested on her holster, her mind racing through protocols. Trooper barked sharply, his front paws scratching at the suitcase, claws catching on the fabric. Trooper, stay. Dana ordered, but he didn't listen. He whined, pawed again, then did something chilling. He sat stiff and silent, his eyes locked on the suitcase. Dana's breath caught. That sit was a signal from his military days. Not for bombs. For human life. Her heart pounded. She crouched beside him, her radio crackling. Dispatch, this is 7 Charlie 6. Possible threat at Riverstone Transit. I need backup bomb squad and child protective services on standby. Her voice stayed calm, but her hands were starting to sweat. She squinted at the suitcase, her ears straining for any sound. Then she heard it, a faint, muffled whimper. Not an animal, not an adult, a child. Dana's blood ran cold. There's someone in there, she whispered, her voice barely audible. Trooper whined again, his nose pressed to the suitcase's edge, his body trembling with urgency. Protocol screamed at her to wait. The bomb squad was 10 minutes out. If the suitcase was rigged, opening it could be catastrophic. But then the suitcase moved. Just an inch. Barely noticeable, but enough to make Dana's stomach lurch. Everyone stay back, she shouted, drawing her sidearm. The platform was mostly clear now, a handful of onlookers watching from behind a chain-link fence near the station entrance. Trooper barked again, 2 sharp, urgent barks, his signal for confirmed human presence. Dana's instincts took over. She dropped to her knees, her fingers trembling as she reached for the zipper. Protocol be damned. If there was a child in there, every second mattered. The zipper rasped slowly, the sound slicing through the foggy air like a knife. A pungent smell hit her first, sweat, duct tape, old cloth. Then she saw it, a tiny pink and yellow sneaker, scuffed and worn. Then eyes, wide, terrified, blinking up at her from the darkness inside. A boy, no older than 4, was curled up in the suitcase, his mouth taped shut, wrists bound with zip ties, knees tucked tightly to his chest like a frightened animal. He was alive, trembling, his dark eyes locked on Dana's. Jesus! Dana gasped, her voice breaking. She holstered her weapon and reached in, gently pulling the boy into her arms. He was cold, his small body shaking against her chest. Trooper licked the boy's hand, a soft, reassuring gesture. The boy blinked, his gaze shifting to the dog, as if Trooper's presence anchored him. Dana's radio crackled to life. This is Blake. We have a live child. Repeat, live child abducted. Request ambulance and immediate trauma response. I'm holding the child now. The platform was silent now, the fog swallowing the sounds of retreating footsteps. Dana held the boy tighter, whispering, "You're safe now, sweetheart. We've got you." She peeled the tape from his mouth as gently as she could, her hands shaking. He didn't cry, didn't speak, just stared, his eyes hollow, like he'd seen too much for someone so small. The ambulance tore through the fog, sirens wailing as it sped towards St. Mary's Hospital. Dana sat in the back, the boy cradled in her arms, Trooper at her feet. The boy clung to her sleeve, his fingers gripping the fabric, like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. He hadn't spoken, hadn't cried, just stared with those dark, empty eyes. Dana's heart ached. He was too quiet for a 4-year-old, and that silence spoke of trauma deeper than she could imagine. At the hospital, a pediatric trauma team was waiting. Nurses and doctors swarmed the stretcher, whisking the boy down a sterile hallway. Dana and Trooper followed until an authorized personnel-only sign stopped them. Trooper whined, pawing at the automatic door as it closed. "It's okay, buddy," Dana whispered, kneeling beside him. "You found him. You did your job. Let them take care of him now." But Trooper didn't relax, his eyes fixed on the door, ears twitching with every sound. In the waiting room, Dana sat in a hard plastic chair, arms crossed, staring at a muted TV bolted to the wall. The news had already picked up the story. Boy found in suitcase at Riverstone Transit. Suspect at large. The headline crawled across the screen, oversimplified, missing the weight of it. Ray traced the number to a burned phone, last active in Ravens Hollow, north of the National Forest. Dana, Ray, and Trooper drove 2 hours to a remote trailhead where the GPS died and the road turned to gravel. Trooper was alert, his nose twitching, tail stiff. They hiked half a mile through dense woods until they reached a clearing. There, a makeshift cabin stood. Tin roof, patched windows, smoke curling from a chimney. Someone was inside. Dana drew her weapon, Ray at her side. "Careful," she whispered. Before they could approach, a woman's voice called out, calm but tired. "You can put your guns down. I'm not going to run." Camilla Rain stepped into the doorway, older than in the photo, with dark circles under her eyes, but the same gentle presence. "You found him, didn't you?" she asked. Dana nodded. "He's safe." Camilla's lips trembled. "That's all I ever wanted." As Ray cuffed her gently, Camilla explained, "I was being followed. Someone knew where we were. I panicked. The suitcase was stupid, but I knew AK-9 would find him fast." Dana's heart ached. Camilla hadn't stolen Miles. She'd saved him. But from what? At Family and Youth Services, caseworker Janice Henley pulled Miles's file. In 2019, he'd been placed in emergency custody after a domestic incident with his father, Martin Hollis, who had a sealed abuse record the courts overlooked. Camilla, his half-aunt, tried to intervene but had no legal standing. When the father vanished with Miles, Camilla took him, living off-grid to protect him from a system that failed. A whistleblower later exposed the agency's failures. Martin Hollis had 2 sealed endangerment reports. The judge who granted custody retired quietly. Charges against Camilla were dropped. At a park, with a caseworker's approval, Camilla met Miles. She brought his favorite book, Scout and the Big Brave Day. Miles hugged her tightly. "You did keep me safe," he said. Camilla smiled through tears. "I tried, baby." Dana fostered Miles, her home filling with sketchbooks, puzzles, and dog fur. Trooper became his shadow, sleeping by his bed, chasing away nightmares. Miles laughed again, drew fields and sunshine, and called Dana D and Trooper T. At a town hall, the mayor honored them for their heroism. Miles ran on stage, hugging them as the crowd cheered. That night, Dana tucked Miles in. "You ever scared anymore?" she asked. He shook his head. "Because of T. Because I'm not lost anymore." Dana kissed his forehead. "You were never lost, kid. You were just waiting to be found." Wow, what a story. Trooper's instincts, Dana's courage, and Miles's trust show us why dogs are our greatest heroes. If this journey touched your heart, hit that subscribe button for K9 Miracle Stories. We bring you tales of loyalty and bravery every week. Like this video, share with your friends, and drop a comment below. Would you have trusted troopers growl that morning or follow protocol? Let's hear your thoughts. Subscribe now, join our pack, and don't miss the next incredible story. Until then, keep believing in the power of heroes with paws.